their American timers on upcoming project 2 as a group that includes, that is aimed at, we call it the Stay Fresh project. It's aimed at supporting young girls in Kenya. Thank you so much and thanks for coming. If you have a young person out there, tell them to come and have some good, really good things going on. Thank you.
Because the only way we're going to be able to succeed as a community is if we come together as a Kenyan community. So many times we struggle, we don't know that there are students who are struggling, and we hear about some of their struggles here. But if we come together, we'll be able to help one another be able to succeed. Because coming to the United States is not a simple task. If you think about it, when you came to this country, you had to go get a visa, you had to do all this. There's so many expectations. Then you come here, you're just blown away by culture shock. You're blown away by the fact that you're going to get discriminated. You're going to go through so much stuff to be able to succeed in this country. And we have to be able to acknowledge these things. We have to realize, because we're here especially for the younger people, that these people are experiencing these things in a much different level. They're experiencing this as young children and not in the same capacity. Because if you think about it, my parents and then myself and then maybe my sister, she's younger than me, the way we're going to experience culture shock is completely different. And if we are able to help one another be able to go through these experiences, I think it would be much better than everybody going through the same experience alone. So when we think about this, we have to think about the people who have paved this way for us, because if you think about Kenya, everybody in the world knows that Kenyans are very good at marathons. Everybody knows that. Everybody expects any Kenyan to win a marathon. We all learn to expect that. So what makes these Kenyans run so fast? There's so many studies that have been done, even in the United States, just to figure out why Kenyans run so fast, why they're so good. So they came up with this theory, because I think it's a theory, that Kenyans have this mutant gene in their muscles that makes them run faster. Well, I don't think we have a mutant gene. I think we're born to run. We are born to be the best. So if we can be marathon runners and be the best, it means that if we can come to the United States, we can be marathoners, not just in running, but in so many other things.
A mission hospital. So the first place we went to was the orphanage in Nairobi, which was a school that we went to in a slum area where there was poor sanitation, and it was just, and we gave the kids shoes and food and rice, and we gave them a good day. So we gave things, but I also received. I learned personally that you don't need to have a lot of wealth to be happy, and those children were the happiest people I've seen in a long time, because in the US here, you don't really feel happy or seem happy if you don't have a lot of wealth. In fact, you look up to those people who have wealth, and you just say whatever you have is just, you know, what you can get. So people aren't thankful here, but those people survive on the littlest, and they're the darn happiest people I've seen. The school there was a very small area. There was a main building that was sheet metal, and it was sectioned off to where there were 2 classrooms in that, and then a building to the right where there were also sheet metal buildings where the classes were held, and there was no lighting because electricity wasn't there unless you got it illegally. But they had chalkboards and things, so donating shoes from Goodwill was a great thing that we could have done, because it's really cheap and it doesn't cost a lot of effort just to give them new shoes, because their shoes were like really run down and the soles were ruined. So it was a very nice act of kindness, and we gave them food that costed under $50 in US dollars. And their eyes.
For what they have done for us, they have given us food.
They ended up happy, and hopefully next year we'll be able to visit that area. The second place we visited was Kilimambogo, which is a hospital that has an orphanage in it, because there were children there who pretended to be sick because they were starving, so they had somewhere to live because their parents abandoned them. And I wrote down here, in the beginning, mothers abandoned their children at the hospital because of their inability to pay. And people even ran away after giving birth because the cost was 52,000 shillings in order to go through the whole medical procedure of birth. So, in the end, kids finally got an orphanage built there for them to stay and live. And we spent the day there helping out any way we could. We lifted, we hung out with the children. I taught them how to play tag. And we also brought them food. And the final place we went to was Kilgoris Mission Hospital. And that is probably the place that I remember the most because we ended up staying there for 2 nights. And we were split off into 2 groups, one of them going to the hospital to visit the patients there. The second group went to another school to hang out with more children. I was in the group that went to the mission hospital part, and I got to speak to many patients, some of them having diabetes or being treated for other diseases, but the one that I remember the most was this guy who attempted suicide. And we ended up just trying to talk him into, moving on with life, because life is very precious and God has given him that chance to, keep going, because if he would have just committed suicide, he would have ended all of that.
Community Resource Center, how it came to be how it is. I believe most of the people here remember the boy who died, Peter Jau, who died in May. This boy he was very, very hard-working boy. He had ambitions, very big dreams, and one of the dreams Peter had was, after completing everything, he would become a vice president or a president back home. It never happened because he just died at a tender age. Most of us were touched because of his death, and we decided that we should do something that our young people here, we give them hope and encouragement. We joined together, started praying for them and talking to them. And to tell you the truth, it's very interesting because recently we have another boy, another young man. I'm going to introduce you to him, who also tried to commit suicide. But thank God, we prayed that God do not let any other young man die prematurely. And actually, God answered our prayers, because this boy, when he was just about to commit suicide, somebody came up and gave him hope. So what we are doing is just talking to these young people, and especially the ones who are coming from, our intention is the ones to get the ones who are coming here. Because when they come here, when their parents send them here, they don't know anything. They don't get any information of how this place is. They come here with great expectations like how their parents sent them. And actually, you know very well when a parent sends his kid or her kid here, he has great expectations that that kid is going to make it here. Most of them, they don't make it. It is so sad. You hear your kid has dropped school, or sometimes you get them in coffins. And we said, this group said, it's not going to happen. And we are all together, working together, that we'll save these young people.
Community Resource Center. It's a group that was actually inspired by Peter's death. Because some of these deaths that are happening around those people, most of them, I would say all of them, it's out of depression. And so this group was formed to address those issues, to identify the challenges that young people are facing, and come up with solutions in order to, to help to save more lives. So if you are out there and you are depressed, you feel like you have those feelings of committing to say all this stuff, please don't keep those feelings to yourself. That is written on one of these flyers here, Community Resource Center, North County. There is a number at the back. Please, the number is 314-252-0488. Please call on those numbers and you have any question. If you are having struggles with alcoholism, struggle.
Albert Einstein said one time, in the middle of every difficulty lies what? We read all these things. The congressman is here, don't embarrass me. Act like we know what we're talking about, Lies opportunity. In the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. And one word of encouragement, just one word of encouragement to somebody, means more than 3 hours of compliment after being successful. Just one word. If you catch the guy at the right moment when he has failed on something and give him an encouragement, that moves him way far than what you do in a half an hour on a guy who is successful. You know him by name, but you have never known who he is. So, welcome, Lacey Clay.
Thank you so much. Hey, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for that kind welcome. Asante Sana. Asante Sana. Let me also say yes, it did take America 300 years until we got a Kenyan named Barack Hussein Obama to get health care. It's a great pleasure to be with you again to honor some outstanding achievers at your 3rd annual recognition event. I want to thank your president, Jeffrey Soyatet, for inviting me to be here. The African immigrant community in St. Louis is growing, and I am pleased and proud to welcome you to America. Also with us today is my good friend, the St. Louis County Executive, Charlie Dooley, who I've known for more than 20 years. And we are a partnership. We work together to bring government and services to this community. Can we give the county executive another round of applause? You know, I'm so happy that you decided to make your new home here, here in the St. Louis region. And by your dedication to Vitendo for Africa, you are making a dual commitment to build productive lives here in St. Louis and to give back to Africa, to lift up those who still lack basic medical care, clean water, housing, basic education, and a chance to succeed. Tonight, we honor your Vitendo achievers. And I want to especially recognize Youth Unbound to Infinity. Who's part of that? Youth Unbound to Infinity. Also, your small business achievers, your undergraduate and graduate students, your humanitarian and cultural leaders, and the clergy who support this effort with their unending faith and guidance. Vitendo translates to action, and action is exactly what is required to establish a new life in this country.
They say that big jobs only go to people who have the ability to conquer the small jobs. Basically what that says is that everywhere you go, you have to start from the beginning. You have to take steps. If you have the ability to go through the small jobs, that is how you get to the top, because it shows everybody that you have an agenda. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about Charlie Dooley, but you don't know who he is. Today we are delighted that he is with us here tonight. He is the St. Louis County Executive. And without even taking too much time, make sure you're writing these names down. Next time when you go to his office, act like you know him. I know. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr.
Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let's get excited about something. This is good stuff. Let me say a couple things. First of all, is that I'm extremely happy to be here. You know, it is very difficult when you got the big gun in the house. I got to come behind the big gun. Our congressman. Let's give our congressman another great big hand. He is doing an outstanding job. He really is. We represent this first district as no one can represent this first district. And then to my good friend Betsy, how you doing, Betsy? You doing well? Director of Immigration. My friends, I want to talk to you today about something that is very close to me. It makes me excited. It gets me motivated when I go to work every single day. And that is sharing what we have and what we do here in St. Louis with the world. And folks, that's a lot. St. Louis is a place for all of us. We are all blessed. But our economic future is at stake. And we don't do something about it. We want to be welcoming people from around the world to stimulate immigration to our region. We will all fail if we don't. Some people worry about, well, is somebody going to take my job? Won't we all be competing for the same jobs with new citizens? No, we're not. We're talking about growing the pie, making it larger for all of us. It is about growing opportunity. That's what we talk about. This is about creating opportunity for everyone who is here and attracting new people who bring new opportunities and new ideas, especially new people from around the world. This is about growing opportunities that every person at every skill level have more choices of jobs availability to them. So what can we do? We need to embrace this change for the better. In order to preserve the blessings we have today, we must invite more people to share in them, new neighbors. When we realize our own true potential is what will attract new people to the St. Louis region. We are bringing St. Louis to the global market like never before. And we want the market to come to us as well. We want more immigrants, we want more customers, and to this, we need to reflect a global village. This is our history. We are a city built by a wave after wave of immigrants. This is our future. New citizens don't just bring buying power, they bring the region, talent, vibrancy, and diversity. So as we move forward, think about how you will become and welcome new opportunities. Think about how you will welcome these changes to preserve not only what we have, but what we will have. Think about how you will welcome a better, bigger, and more vibrant St. Louis with the greater opportunities for our children, for your children, as we go together. It is so, so important as we move to the 21st century. Diversity need not be a slogan. It needs to be a part of our DNA. We have to do this. Secondly, people talk about immigration as growing the economy. Let's talk about immigration growing new ideas and opportunities and different ways of how we think about the future. This is so, so important. So
Director of the Mosaic Project. Her name is Betty Cohen. And after Betty Cohen, we've got a deputy presenting the award. So give her a big hand.
Thank you. Imagine this. In 7 years, what if we have 10,000 more foreign-born people in our St. Louis region? That is our goal. As the county executive said, we need to grow. And people who bring the talent and the skill, who are immigrants, who bring new ideas, that is how our region is going to grow. As the director of our St. Louis Mosaic Project, it is very important that we look to the future because our regional prosperity depends on immigration and innovation together. And that is why the goal that we have set for the region with a steering committee of community leaders is that by the year 2020, we will be the major metropolitan area with the fastest rate of growth of foreign-born people, which is a very big goal. This came out of work from our academic institutions, a study from St. Louis University. The county executive and Mayor Slay put together a group of community leaders that are the steering committee that I am working with. Jeffrey has been key in connecting with me, with you, and with our African community. We've had meetings in the county executive's office. And it's extremely important that we have a dialogue about what we can do together to make our region better. I do want to congratulate you on the 50 years of independence. I was reading about that, and it's extremely important. I know that the future of Kenya, just like the future here, is about children. It's about the growth. It's about how we invest in the future of the young people to make it a better community. So with that, I wish you also a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Give her a big hand. All right, and with your permission now, the organizing committee of this event, Achievers Awards, I think now we'll move right on into presenting the awards. Then I'll call upon Carol after that, because I'm sure she has something she'd like to talk about, but we'll move right along. So the congressman and and the executive, you do please come here. They have a chance to shake your hand. If we face the camera. Thank you very much. The next award, it's called the Entrepreneurial Spirit Award, also known as in Swahili, Simba Award. This is Simon Moriah. Simon Moriah. You should get a picture, man. Girls will be talking about you. I saw you in the Congress, man. That's how you win, people. I keep telling you, you make use of this thing. Now, the next one is the Community Business Advocates Wakili Award. This goes to Poor Pay. Thank you. The next one is Special Recognition Award, also called the Trigger Award. And I'm going to recognize these people. And I would invite, where's Pastor Isaac? Are you here? Please come over here, because these guys, I want you to shake their hands and give them award. These are people who have been very instrumental to our community. That's where we are. This is Pastor Isaac. He's done a wonderful job in nourishing our spirits. Now, I'll call the people that I want to receive this award. These are special recognition. The first is Betty Cohen. Did she leave already? She left already. The next one who receives this award, this is a very prestigious award. If you go to Kenya, make sure you show it to the people there. The next one, there's one more, is Congressman Lacey Clay. Yeah. So he will give it to you. Pastor Isaac will give it to you. Yeah. The next recipient is none other than award will be given by Dr. Muya. Dr. Muya, if you come here and give this award. Give this award to none other than the big man, Charlie Dooley. Give it to Charlie Dooley. Thank you very much. Thank you. And our next recipient is Stella Mburu. Stella. Purity, come here so these people can see the best half of Geoffrey Soyan Ted. So we want to make sure she's part of that award too. Thank you. Thank you. The next, we have a group of volunteers. Oh, community service. Yeah, we missed one here that we need to call. The Community Service Award. The recipients of this are Grace Ndumu, and Dennis Muigai. Young man, this guy has done wonderful things. This guy is the one who is the biggest challenge that Lacey is facing as our next congressman. That's the guy. That's your competition right there. Now the next group that we have, they receive certificates and they'll get a chance to shake hands of our influential men here in St. Louis. This is the Kenya Mission Volunteers. The first recipient is Margaret Jenka. The next one is Carol Chege. Big hand. This girl has gone far above and beyond. Carol Chege. Yeah. Next is Dennis Muigai. That's the congressman. That's how you start. Make sure you ask him what he did when he was young. Yeah. All right. The next recipient is Thomas Siganga. The next one is Virginia Korea. Give her a big hand. The first one is Livingstone Kahiga. These are leaders, guys who have gone far above and beyond just to fix our community. We got a certificate for you. What happened to these guys? Samuel Mwangi, follow right on. Margaret Jenga, Michael Mutuku. So Livingstone Kahiga.